Hello, and welcome to everyone watching this video. My name is Vince Bollinger. I'm the Vice President of Education for the TechMasters Club, club number 1286458, as well as the Director for Area 41 of District 6 of Toastmasters International for the 2016 to 2017 Toastmasters year. Today, we're going to be going over one of the most important experiences at the beginning of your Toastmasters journey. Of course, I'm talking about the icebreaker speech. Today, we'll be going over what the icebreaker is, why it's important, how to prepare, and how to present your icebreaker speech to your new Toastmasters Club. First off, just what is the icebreaker speech? The icebreaker speech is the very first speech that you will give in Toastmasters. It's the first speech in the Competent Communicator Manual that you get upon joining the Toastmasters program, as well as the very first speech that you will give if you're in the Speechcraft program. The purpose of the icebreaker speech is to break the ice. In this case, you are breaking the ice with your new Toastmasters group or fellow Speechcraft participants. You're giving a very basic, straightforward speech to dip your toes into the waters of everyone's worst fear, public speaking. The content of the icebreaker speech is one with which you should be very, very familiar. Yourself. Tell your new Toastmasters Club or your fellow Speechcraft participants who you are, your early life, your career, your family, your hobbies, your passions, whatever is important to you so that we all get a window into who you are. Next, let's talk about the importance of the icebreaker speech. The icebreaker speech is a very important first step in your Toastmasters journey. It serves many purposes. We've already discussed how it breaks the ice with your new Toastmasters Club or fellow Speechcraft participants, helping you to connect with them. The icebreaker speech is meant to be a safe and simple speech to help make you more comfortable with the speaking to this particular group of people. Once you're comfortable speaking to this group, speaking to other groups may become easier as well. This is your first step to conquering the fear of public speaking. The icebreaker speech also gives your new Toastmasters Club or Speechcraft mentor an initial assessment of your strengths and weaknesses as a public speaker. This will help your new Toastmasters Club members or Speechcraft mentor provide you with a roadmap for your improvement as a public speaker. Now, we'll move on to how to prepare your icebreaker speech. Just like any speech, you need to properly construct your icebreaker speech into a cohesive, logical narrative. As with any speech, your icebreaker should have a very clear opening, body, and conclusion, so the audience can follow along with the speaker's objectives. Here are a few simple tips to remember when building an introduction for your icebreaker speech. Think of 3 or 4 main points to discuss. Just list them. You'll explain them in depth in the body of your speech. Then, think of an interesting attention getter to begin your speech. Lastly, think of a segue to your very first point. For the icebreaker speech, the main points that you list in the introduction should give us a window into who you are. Consider discussing the most important things in your life, like your family, early life, education, career, faith, hobbies, or passions in life. This will allow the members of your new Toastmasters Club to get to know you. For the body of your speech, you want to expand on each of the main points listed in the introduction. Think of anecdotes, stories, and information that you can use to explain the main point that you wanted to discuss. Explain your career's journey or the milestones in your family's growth, like your marriage or each childbirth. In the conclusion of your icebreaker speech, you'll want to revisit each of your main points, but rephrased from your introduction and body. We are trying to remind the audience of what was discussed. Finally, end your speech with something the audience can take home, like a moral or some kind of an action item. Now that you've finished writing your icebreaker speech, let's talk about preparing to give it to your new Toastmasters Club. The most comforting thing to remember when giving an icebreaker speech is that you are the world's preeminent authority on the subject matter, yourself. Therefore, you don't have to remember every single word of your entire speech. While you don't need to remember every single word of your speech, you should practice your speech many times. Read it to yourself, out loud, to a friend or significant other. You'll pick up things that work well and on areas where you could use some improvement. You should also try to memorize the introduction and the conclusion. When presenting your icebreaker speech, you're more than likely going to be a little bit nervous. Again, you're the subject matter expert, so the body of your speech will be the easy part. Also, remember that every single person in your new Toastmasters Club has been in the exact same position as you and felt the exact same way that you do right now. There are a few things to think about while giving your icebreaker speech. First, make sure that you aren't making any distracting gestures, such as awkward or repetitive hand movements that don't add to your talk, or swaying back and forth. Try to remain calm and leave your hands at your sides if it appears to be a problem while you're rehearsing your speech. Next up, remember that eye contact is important. It helps the audience connect with you and with what you're saying. You'll want to try to make eye contact with each person in the audience for a good second or two. Make sure not to stare at the floor or the ceiling, and while looking at notes, try to make it a glance and not a pause and stare. Conclude your icebreaker speech with your memorized conclusion. Remember to restate your points and finish with something interesting, like a moral or a call to action. When finished with your conclusion, turn to the Toastmaster of the meeting and say, Mr. or Madam Toastmaster, and enjoy the applause. Thank you for watching this video today. I hope that you now have a blueprint for what to do, what to say, how to say it, and what to expect while giving your icebreaker speech. Good luck on your icebreaker speech, the first speech in your Toastmasters journey, and I hope you feel more prepared from watching this video.